like it's just lit. Like women's basketball, the game, how far it's come, the excitement, the attention. Maybe I'll start with you, Kels, because Lord Jesus, your team.
Today, we're talking about a story that's got the basketball world buzzing, and trust me, it's not just another game highlight. This is about loyalty, truth, and a team that's rewriting the narrative of women's basketball. The Indiana Fever, led by the fiery Kelsey Mitchell and the phenomenal Caitlin Clark, are at the center of a movement. One that's shaking up the WNBA, silencing doubters, and proving that passion isn't a nuisance. It's power. Let's set the stage. Women's basketball Robin Hood's arrow hit the mark when it came to the WNBA in 2024, and no team embodied that revolution more than the Indiana Fever. The game has changed, folks. It's faster, fiercer, and more visible than ever. Arenas are packed, TV ratings are soaring, and the spotlight is shining brighter than a supernova. At the heart of this transformation, Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation who's taken the league by storm. But this story isn't just about her. It's about a team, a fan base, and a veteran leader who's had enough of the shade thrown their way.
She's a whole lot to take in. I mean, a little bit goes a long way. She's just really loud.
That leader is Kelsey Mitchell, and when she stepped up to defend her teammate and her franchise, she didn't just speak, she roared. The spark. A media jab goes too far. It all started with a single comment, the kind that sounds like a joke but cuts like a knife. During a media segment, a prominent WNBA commentator, let's call her Tara Williams for the story, to keep things original, tossed out a line that was dripping with condescension. "Lord have mercy," she said, chuckling. "The Indiana Fever and their fans? They're out here stirring up everybody's business." On the surface, it was framed as light-hearted banter, the kind of quip you might hear in a casual sports talk show. But anyone who's been following the Fever's journey could hear the venom beneath the words. It wasn't just a jab at the fans. It was a subtle dig at the team, their star player, and the seismic shift they've brought to the league. The implication? The Fever, their supporters, and especially Caitlin Clark are somehow too much, too loud, too bold, too disruptive for the WNBA's established order. Tara's comment wasn't an isolated incident.
Really kind of obnoxious for lack of a better word. And I don't mean obnoxious like just people who are obnoxious and they're just insulting people all over the place and that kind of thing.
For months, certain media figures, let's say the legacy guard of WNBA coverage, have been tiptoeing around Caitlin Clark's impact. They'll talk about the league's growth, the new TV deals, the sold-out arenas, but when it comes to giving Clark her due, they hesitate, they deflect. They credit the collective or the veterans or the history of the game. Anything but the rookie who's averaging 20 points a game, breaking records and drawing millions of new eyes to the sport. Why the reluctance? It's not hard to see. Clark's arrival has upset the apple cart. She's not just a player. She's a phenomenon, a cultural force who's rewriting what's possible in women's basketball. Her $30 million shoe deal before even stepping onto a WNBA court? That's the kind of money that makes headlines and apparently stirs jealousy. As one commentator admitted in a rare moment of candor, sure, there's some envy. Who wouldn't want that kind of spotlight? But envy doesn't justify dismissal, and Tara's comment crossed a line. It wasn't just about Clark. It was an attack on the entire Indiana Fever family, the players, the coaches, and the fans who've turned Gainbridge Fieldhouse into a fortress of noise and pride.
Jesus.
They be getting up in everybody's business.
Wait. I just noticed that. Your team and their fans, they be getting up in everybody's business. So not just the fans, but...
And that's where Kelsey Mitchell, the heart and soul of the Fever, drew a line in the sand. Kelsey Mitchell. The Fever's unshakable. Core to understand why Mitchell's response hit so hard, you need to know who she is. Kelsey Mitchell isn't just a player, she's a pillar. Drafted by the Fever in 2018, she's been with the team through thick and thin, through losing seasons, coaching changes, and roster rebuilds. She's a scoring machine, finishing in the top 10 in WNBA points for 5 straight years, from 2020 to 2024. She holds the top 3 highest scoring games in Fever history, sits second in franchise career points, and ranks high in field goals, 3-pointers, and assists. Numbers don't lie, and neither does her work ethic.
Was phrased, Lord Jesus, your fans, once again pushing the narrative that there's something wrong.
But Mitchell's impact goes beyond stats. She's the glue that's held the Fever together when the spotlight was elsewhere. When the team struggled, she showed up to every practice, every game, every fan event, pouring her heart into a franchise that's become her second home. "Indiana's not just where I play," she said in a recent interview. "It's family. It's where I've grown, where I've grieved, where I've found love." That love isn't abstract. It's rooted in moments like the standing ovations she gets at home games, the letters from fans who say she's inspired their daughters, the trust she's earned from teammates who call her sis. Mitchell's loyalty isn't flashy, it's quiet, steady, and unbreakable. So when Tara Williams took a swipe at the Fever, she wasn't just insulting a team. She was disrespecting a legacy Mitchell spent 7 years building. The moment, Kelsey fires backs. Boom. The room went quiet. You could almost see Tara's practiced smile falter, her eyes blinking a little too fast. Mitchell didn't raise her voice or throw insults. She didn't need to. Her words were a sledgehammer, smashing through months of media spin with a single, undeniable truth. Caitlin Clark is changing the game, and the Fever are at the forefront of that revolution. But Mitchell didn't stop there. She went deeper, weaving her response into a broader defense of her team and their fans. "I've been here when this arena was half empty," she said. "I've seen what Indiana was, and I see what it is now. The fans, the energy, the love, it's not a nuisance, it's a blessing. And anyone who can't see that isn't paying attention." It was a masterclass in media judo, taking a loaded question and flipping it into a moment of clarity. Mitchell wasn't just defending Clark. She was standing up for every player on the Fever roster, every fan in the stands, and every kid watching at home who dreams of playing in a packed arena. Her message was clear: you don't get to disrespect the Fever family and walk away unscathed.
With Indiana Fever fans, I don't like that has become the accepted belief about the Fever fans.
The Caitlin Clark effect, a phenomenon, not a burden. To understand why Mitchell's defense resonated so deeply, let's talk about Caitlin Clark. The 22-year-old rookie out of Iowa burst onto the WNBA scene like a comet, shattering expectations and records alike. In her first season, she averaged 20.2 points, 7.8 assists, and 5.6 rebounds per game, numbers that put her in the same conversation as league legends. She broke the WNBA record for most three-pointers by a rookie, led the Fever to their first playoff appearance since 2016, and drew sellout crowds wherever she played. But Clark's impact isn't just statistical. She's a cultural juggernaut. Her games are must-watch TV, with ESPN reporting a 15% spike in WNBA viewership in 2024, largely driven by her presence. Merchandise sales, especially Clark's numberikes, 22 jersey, have skyrocketed, with online stores crashing under the demand.
But Kelsey Mitchell is a professional, and before long, well, she's going to kind of put them in their place in a way they didn't like.
Social media is flooded with highlights of her logo threes and no-look passes, captioned with hashtags like Clark Effect and Chalk Fever Rising. Yet, despite the numbers, the crowds, and the undeniable buzz, certain media voices refuse to give Clark her flowers. They'll talk about her turnovers, every rookie has them, or her adjustment to the pro game, she's already an all-star. They'll say her fans are too much or her attention is overblown. It's a tired playbook, one that Mitchell saw through and called out. What's driving this resistance? Part of it is the discomfort of change. Clark's rise challenges the WNBA's established hierarchy, the veterans, the media gatekeepers, the narratives they've controlled for years. A rookie becoming the face of the league? That's not how it's supposed to work. Add in the massive endorsement deals and the mainstream hype, and it's easy to see why some feel threatened. As one analyst put it, Clark's success forces everyone to confront the gap between where the league was and where it could go. But Mitchell's response cut through the noise. By naming Clark as a catalyst, she wasn't just giving credit. She was exposing a truth the legacy guard wants to bury.
I've seen both sides of it. From one, like being on a team with like Caitlin and knowing that some of the stuff and the wave that she created for like us, you know, where the game is and what she's been a part of.
The Fever's success, the packed arenas, the record-breaking ratings, they're not a fluke. They're the result of a team and a player who've tapped into something bigger. A hunger for women's basketball that's been there all along, waiting for the right spark. The fans, the heartbeat of the Fever. Let's talk about those fans because they're not just a footnote, they're the pulse of this story. Indiana Fever fans have always been loyal, but in 2024 they've become a force. Gainbridge Fieldhouse, once a quiet venue, now rocks with 17,000 voices chanting, "Let's go Fever!" The team's home games sold out 90% of the season, a franchise record. Road games? Same story. Opposing arenas report 30% increases in attendance when Clark and the Fever come to town. These fans aren't just showing up, they're investing. They're buying jerseys, streaming games, and flooding X with posts about their team. Their families bringing their kids to their first WNBA game, college students painting their faces, and lifelong Hoosiers who've waited decades for this moment. To them, the Fever aren't just a team, they're a source of pride, a symbol of Indiana's grit and heart. So when Tara Williams called them a nuisance, she wasn't just wrong. She was dismissive of the very people who fueled the WNBA's resurgence. Mitchell knew this, and her defense of the fans was as fierce as her defense of Clark.
This shift in moments in Indiana, period, as far as like the arena, where we started, and B was my vet, kinda, right? Kinda?
We up there, sis.
These fans are family, she said. They've grown with us, they've stuck with us, and they're why this game is growing. Don't you dare call that a problem. Mitchell's words struck a chord because they were authentic. She's seen the empty seats, felt the sting of tough seasons, and now she's witnessing the payoff. The fans aren't a sideshow, they're the backbone, and by standing up for them,
she also saw, and you know, she's a vet too. They've seen what Indiana was, and I think now where it's at now, the big moment is seeing the shift and being a part of it from a standpoint of I know where